My name's Wenting. I am a graphic designer who do coding on the side. Today I'm gonna show you something very special, which is drawing up a keyboard icon with pure CSS. Not only that, I'm only gonna use one div, so there's no crazy amount of elements that I'm gonna create. It's just gonna be one div, and some CSS. I'm gonna achieve a keyboard icon. The reason why I'm doing this is, I don't know, for fun. I see a lot. We use icons every day. There's a lot of icon servers on the market, such as Font Awesome, Icon Moon. They're all vector icons. I got a lot of inspiration from them. But one day I just thought it would be fun if I try to recreate those icons with CSS and see if that works. And turned out to be a really fun challenge. There are numerous of different icons. Some are more complicated than the other, and those are this especially fun challenges that I face. I challenge myself if I can draw this complicated looking icon with one div and some CSS. And the most challenging one I recently faced is the keyboard icon. So let's get started. To give an idea what a keyboard icon usually looks, let's check out Font Awesome keyboard. So this is what the keyboard icon looks on Font Awesome. We're gonna create our own, but this one is just give an idea, like what is custom looking. What is the what does keyboard icon looks on the internet? So other people see keyboard, they should recognize from their past experience using other icons or seeing other icons in other websites. So we're going to create a very custom version of this keyboard, and we're going to achieve that with pure CSS. So the first step, we're going to go to our drawing board on Sketch and try to draw our own version of this keyboard. I always find having some constraint in the design process very helpful. Having a completely whiteboard does not necessarily always help. Sometimes I get scared because there's so many possibilities, so many different directions I can go, actually stops me from moving forward. So before we start it, I want to set up some constraint for myself. And when you do this exercise with me, find your own constraint. It doesn't have to be the same as mine. The constraint will be the size, the style of your icon. Would it be a line icon? What is the line width? Are you going to be mono with line icon, or you can actually use different stroke width? It's going to be a solid icon. Are you going to have color? Are you going minimalism, or you are going to more elaborate? Beyond those constraints we put ourselves, there's a bigger constraint. That is, we're only going to use CSS to create it. CSS is not Illustrator. It's not Sketch. You cannot do anything you want. It doesn't support paths. It has only certain number of elements for you to manipulate. So that's another constraint. And I find those constraints the thing that makes this challenge fun, because it's hard. It's like a puzzle. Every icon I see now, I see it as a puzzle. How do I draw this with only a few elements and with limited CSS rules? So when we draw this icon in the sketch, we have to have all these constraints in mind. We're not going to draw something crazy graphics that we know is not going to be achievable with CSS. So let's get started. I will walk you through with more detailed information about those constraints later on. First thing is I am creating sort of the bounding box for this icon to be held in, and I choose the width 21 pixel by 21 pixel. Note that it's an odd number. It's not, instead of more popular number such as 24 pixel by 24 pixel, I choose an odd number. The reason why is that when you draw icons in CSS, it has to be pixel fit. what it means is that you can only draw pixels within the pixel grid. You cannot draw a pixel between pixel grid, which is achievable when you're using a vector graphic tool. Those tool doesn't care. You can draw a 1 pixel by 1 pixel square at, I don't know, 0.3 x value or 0.9 y value. It doesn't care. It allows you to do that. But when you do CSS, when you try to set up the position as, let's say, top 0.3 pixel, it's going to not take that. It's going to automatically run it up. It become the whole number. So that's not going to work. You have to pixel fit your icon. And the reason why I choose this odd number grid is that my constraint today is I'm gonna draw a mono stroke width 9 icon. So it's gonna be a 9 icon, and the 9 width is gonna be 1 pixel. It cannot be 2 pixel or 3 pixel. It's gonna be 1 pixel. And when you draw those 1 pixel, if you draw 1 pixel bar like this, a vertical bar with 1 pixel height, 10 pixel, let's say that, and you want to center this thing, horizontally center this. If this is an even number, such as 24 by 24 pixel, the left is going to be 11 pixel, the right is going to be 12 pixel. That's not even. If you have an odd number, so then you can have 10 pixel on the left side, 10 pixel on the right side. You see what I mean here? That is going to be a huge advantage for me to have a 21 or odd number by odd number pixel grid. So 21 by 21 is what I choose. You can choose your own. So let's first draw up this frame. Let's see this outer frame of the keyboard. I'm gonna have 1 pixel margin on each side to have some space. And the height should also better be a odd number height so that you can evenly place in this grid. So this is a number I end up with, 19 by 11. And I want my icon to be styled with rounded corner. It's gonna be unified across the whole icon set. And the border radius is going to be about 2 pixels. Okay, and next step, I'm drawing the spacebar. That looks right. And then I'm gonna draw those keys. I'm not gonna draw those complicated shape key. I'm just gonna draw those squares as keys in a set of square. Okay, because they have to be pixel fit. It's gonna be 3 rows and maybe 5 columns. Let's see how it goes. So this will be how the key size will be 1 pixel by 1 pixel. And let's create some more. I'm starting from the center. Okay. And we're gonna duplicate that. Put it here. Okay. So there will be 10 keys. Perfect. It's centered. The distance is 1 pixel here, 1 pixel to the top. Yeah, I think it looks good. The spacebar could be a little further away, I think. I'm gonna move it down a little bit. Let's group all the keys because it's going to be chaotic to manage this file. Oops, I missed one. The spacebar could be a little bit wider. 9 pixel. Does it look? I'm gonna group them together. Move it up. Maybe the 2 pixel border radius is not quite right. I'm gonna make the 1 pixel. Okay, I think that's a good start point. Let's try to code this thing up. That's gonna be fun. Go to, if you guys want to follow me, you can also go to CodePen. I find it very useful for this purpose because you can directly, when you code your CS, you can directly see the view on the left side. You don't need to refresh the page. It's fairly easy setup. You can use live reload and stuff like that to make this happen, but I find this the most direct. There's no hustle. So as I promised, I'm only gonna use one div. That's all we need for HTML. We can just close this up and start coding CSS. First, I want to set up the CSS a little bit. I want to use auto prefixer in case I need some WebKit only or WebKit, you need WebKit prefix or Opera prefix. I don't want to deal with that, so I'm going to use auto prefixer. I'm not going to use Sass today, but I'm used to. I'm doing this just to make this tutorial more universal. In case you want to use less or Sass, you can convert those CSS, my CSS to those different CSS styles. So first, I want to dissect this icon and tell you a little bit how I approach this in the CSS way. In CSS, since we only have one div, we need some extra help to draw all those crazy graphics that we mock it up on Sketch. There are 2 helpers that you can use, which is the 2 procedural elements for each div. There is 2 procedural elements for each div, the before procedural element and the after procedural element. Those 2 are not quite equal to the div itself, but it has a lot of functionalities. You can style them with CSS. You can put content in. And how we gonna approach this is we're gonna use the main div to draw the frame and use the before procedural element to draw all those keys, all 10 keys with just one procedural element. We're going to use a very special CSS trick to make this happen. And we're going to use the after procedural element to draw the spacebar. So let's get started. First, we want to draw the frame. It's quite straightforward. We're going to draw a box, a rectangle, and we're going to use a border and add some border radius, and we're done. The measurement for this div is 19 by 13 height. But remember, we have border, 1 pixel wide border, so we have to minus the top border and bottom border to the height, also the left border and right border width, which is 2 pixels in total, to the width. So width is going to be 90 pixel minus 2 pixel, which is 17 pixel. The height is going to be 17 pixels minus 2 pixels, which is 11 pixels. And we're going to set up the border. I'm going to use black color. I also want this keyboard to be a little bit to center so we don't stuck it in the corner, which we cannot see perfectly. So let's say margin 100 pixel to move it a little to the center. We also need border radius, which is 1 pixel. Very subtle. You can't really see it, but when you zoom in, you can see. It makes a difference. We have this whole set, and every single one, the near straight corner have 1 pixel border radius. It's gonna show up. It looks very unified. It has the same set. It belongs to the same set. So we already nailed down the frame. Now let's get to the easier procedural element, which is the after. We're gonna deal with the before the latest. To make those procedural elements show up, we first have to set the content to an empty string. And we want them to adopt the box model, so it's going to be display block. We also have to control them within this little space with very direct method. We don't want to use margin or padding. We are going to just use position absolute. Now, if you set an element to position absolute, it's the start point, the origin of 0, 0, is going to be to the top left corner of the browser. To reset that to its parent's container, we have to set the parent to position relative. So now we draw the spacebar. The measurement is 9 pixel by 1 pixel. It's going to have a solid background color, and that's it. You can use some shortcut on CodePen. For example, background color will be BGC, and then you tap, you got background color. The position relative to the frame is gonna be top 10 pixel, left 5 pixel. But you remember to minus the border's width, which is 1 pixel. So the top is gonna be 9 pixel minus 1 pixel equals 9 pixel. The left is 5 minus 1 equals 4 pixel. So let's do that. So now you have the spacebar. Perfect. The last thing, the monster, is how do you draw 10 keys with 1 procedural element? It's not even a real element, and you have to draw 10 different little squares. How is that possible? First thing first, we'll have to set everything. To make it show up, we need to set the content, display, and we're going to use the position absolute. So how we draw the same with 1 procedural element is we're going to use box shadow. The trick about box shadow is that you can actually have multiple box shadow to any direction. So we're going to have like a center element to cast all those shadows, but in the end, the center element, the main object which casts all those 10 shadows in different directions, is going to be hidden. So we're only going to see the shadows, but we're not going to see the object that is casting the shadows. So we're going to create the center object, which is 3 pixel by 3 pixel. I'll explain later why it's 3 pixel by 3 pixel. And for now, to make it show up, we're gonna have background color, which is black. And we're gonna position it to where it should be positioned. Okay, now let's try just one shadow. Let's try the far right shadow, this one. The first value will be X offset, the horizontal offset. From this dot to the main object is gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 pixels. And vertical is going to be 0. The blur is also 0 pixel. We don't want blur. We want a solid dot. And the trick thing is this force value is going to be the sprayed. Let's say it's 0 sprayed. 0 sprayed is going to cast an equal size shadow to the object, which makes sense. It's a 3 by 3 pixel box, so it's going to cast a 3 by 3 box shadow, which already happened here. And we are gonna set the color to black as well. The default value is black, but if you, let's say you choose not to use black as your main color, this shadow, if you don't set it, is gonna be black. So you better set it, and later on when you try to say, let's say 909, a shade of gray, this will be changed to 909 instead of adopting the default value, the black. The tricky part is that you can set the spread to -1 pixel. Here, you have a 1 pixel, 1 by 1 pixel shadow on the right side. And what we're going to keep doing is we're going to do this 10 different times. And the only thing we're going to change is the X offset and Y offset to put it in different places, in different directions. We're going to keep the same color. We're going to keep the same sprite, and that's it. Let's create the other one on the other side. Everything else is the same except the X offset, which is going to be the -6 pixel value. So you have it on the left side. And we're going to do those two as well. Two. Yep, those 2 shadows. And then we're going to do those top row, those 3 shadows. The top row have a different Y offset, which is -2 pixel. And the center one, this one, has 0 X offset. And this one is going to fall between this one and this one. This is a 2 pixel X offset. This is 6 pixel offset. This will be 4 pixel. And on the other side, -4 pixel. So we have created those top row, those three shadows, and we're gonna create the bottom row, which is the exact same thing, just have positive Y offset, +2 pixels. So in total, we already created 10 shadows. And the only thing left to do is to hide the main box, the object that is casting all those shadows. You can do that by simply not having the background color. There, done. You don't see the main object, but you see all the shadows it's casting. There you go. We have our perfect keyboard icon created. What I usually do is I will take a screenshot and put it back to the sketch to see if I did it 100% match. Yes, it is. It matched 100%. Here we go. This is the first tutorial in the series. We did the keyboard icon with just one div. let's review what we have done today. We have created the HTML, which is just one div, have the class keyboard, and then we style the keyboard, which is basically a frame. We set the size, we set the border, we set the border radius, and then we move on to the outer element to create to draw the spacebar. It is also very simple. It is just a box with background color, and we position it in top and left with position absolute. And the last thing, we create those keys with the box shadow trick. Multiple box shadow in different directions, and we use the -1 pixel spray to make that happen. Theoretically, you can also just use 1 pixel width, 1 pixel height. That's also gonna work, but I just want to expose this negative sprayed value to you so that later on when we draw another icon, that will come out handy because we're gonna keep the main object and also casting the shadows. So that's another lesson. I hope you enjoy this video. I actually created a whole set of CSS icons. You can go to cssicon.space to see all the icons I created with pure CSS. I also created the solid field version. See the keyboard here and many others. You can check it out. We are gonna pick several out of those icon set, and I will teach you more advanced trick. I hope you enjoy it. Goodbye.